Hollywood thought it understood scandal until federal agents ripped the velvet drapes off Sean Diddy Combs' empire and exposed an alleged blackmail machine straight out of a spy thriller. Investigators say they hauled away micro cameras the size of shirt buttons, 3 unregistered rifles, and well over 1,000 industrial bottles of baby oil, the rumored starter kit for what insiders call freak-offs. Late night parties where every room was wired for sound and 4K video. Now the shockwaves have ricocheted toward Will Smith, who just broke a 2-year silence with a chilling confession about incomprehensible human cruelty. Eyewitnesses claim Diddy's hard drives contain compromat on everyone, A-list actors, politicians, even preachers. One former enforcer warns, nobody talks until they know what the feds really got. And hovering above it all is rap provocateur 50 Cent live streaming baby oil jokes while selling advance rights to a documentary he calls Takedown. But the real story isn't just blackmail, it's black ice. Invisible, lethal, waiting beneath Hollywood's red carpet. Let's dive in because each layer you peel reveals something stranger than the last.
You know, it was something that was so incomprehensible. You know, it was just so, it's hard to understand the level of human cruelty. That was a horrific night, as you can imagine. You know, there's many nuances and complexities to it, you know. But at the end of the day, I lost it, you know. And I guess what I would say, you just never know what somebody's going.
Jay's speaking on it right now. He'll be one of the first dudes that they'll probably pull to the side and say, yo, well, you say that your man, I heard you on TMZ said that he never did this and he never did that. But ain't this you? If those pictures or those films or anything like that exists. You know what I'm saying? That's what they pay those agents to do. So, of course, I don't believe that none of the people who are his celebrity friends is going to speak or say nothing until they're either contacted or they know what they really got.
So you feel like they might be worried that they might be on tape at one of Diddy parties doing something they wasn't supposed to be doing?
Diddy had, bro, can you imagine? He had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs and little tape recorders. I mean, little those micro projectors or whatever like that, or video cameras. They found them in the house, bro. So by them having those things in the house, and people know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, there's loose men, woman on woman, man on man, all kind of crazy shit. Bruh. They just wondering who or when they're going to let this stuff be known. But not only celebrities, I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there. Hallelujah. That's crazy.
You personally, you think they got tapes?
Well, my personal opinion that if Lil Rob could be trusted and his statements are true, they got him. They got tapes and stuff.
What happens when the party host records all the guests? According to a 14-page federal indictment unsealed on September 17, 2024, Combs ran a 2-decade racketeering web that used sex, leverage, agents described secured server rooms labeled event footage, guard staff trained to swap SD cards hourly, and confidentiality contracts thicker than studio feature scripts. One line in those filings provided Twitter its favorite meme, 1.072 industrial-size baby oil bottles. Victims, many now listed as Jane or John Doe, claim they were lured to mega mansions or charter yachts, stripped of phones at the door, then offered drinks that didn't taste right. Anyone who balked allegedly faced a reminder, cameras everywhere. Baby smile. Prosecutors hint those drives may hold footage of actors A through Z engaging in everything from consensual role play to felonies that carry 20-year sentences. Insiders say Diddy kept a blacklist of insurance clips, one for every VIP who might one day testify. The feds call it blackmail. Defense lawyers call it consensual adult fun taken out of context. Either way, the evidence convoy now sits in a climate-controlled vault at the Southern District of New York, and every lawyer in Beverly Hills knows the docket number by heart. But the first megastar caught in the blast radius wasn't a victim on those drives. It was an Oscar winner already reeling from another. Headline heard round the world.
Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, you told me before that she was at a party before that they attended, and you said the party was weird. Tell me about that.
Okay, this is boxer. His name Twan. He's from our neighborhood. He was married to Tanisha Arnold. So the broad played Pam on Martin Lawrence. We went to the party with her. I mean, it was a matter of fact, it was the Set It Off party. Jada Pinkett, Vivica Fox, all of them was there. You know what I'm saying? It was just seemed like Puff and Tupac was like a couple, seemed like to me. It was just a lot of weird shit going on, you know what I'm saying? The vibes ain't there. I guess that's what Tupac was talking about, the Illuminati and shit. It's like Vivica Fox was with this big gay man. He was 6'9". They called him, his name 6'9". He had the red hair with big old booty and shit. No, he was gay and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It's just a lot of weird shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? That shit, it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's what Tupac, I guess he wanted to get up out of the Illuminati or something. But I seen it there. Matter of fact, MC Lyte pulled off with Tanisha Arnold. You know what I'm saying? In her brand new 560. Black one. Yeah, that shit weird, dude. Yeah, that's some weird ass shit going on, you know? Yeah.
And what was Tupac doing at the party, yo?
Him and Puff was there together. It was there, you know what I'm saying? Party was weird out. Yeah, it was Jada Pinkett. Well,
You saying the whole party was weird. What did you see at the party that made it weird? I mean, I'm confused.
I guess it was the Illuminati. It's just weird. I know I wouldn't want to be part of no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm from the old school, dude, and that shit wasn't really tolerated with my generation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hate crime, yes, but it's more tolerated these days and nothing like that. It's more, you know what I'm saying, more open now, you know what I'm saying? But back then it was kind of fishy, you know what I'm saying? Still kind of fishy, you know, but it's more, you know, out there now.
The incident y'all had with Warren G and Kid Frost. Tell me about that, my man.
Okay, Kid Frost, they gave a party at the House of Blues. One of our big homeboys wanted to go with us. You know what I'm saying? So he went with us and he said, "Ooh, you young niggas have fun." So one of Kid Frost's homies still on my big homie.
One microphone, 5 stunned sentences, and the internet loses its mind. December 12, 2024. Observatory North Park, San Diego. Partway through a surprise stand-up set, Will Smith freezes mid-joke, lips quivering. It was incomprehensible. He stammers, describing a night of cruelty hard to understand. Then, eyes blazing, he detonates the viral line, "I ain't got ST to do with Puffy." Phones light up. Clips rack 10 million views before dawn. Smith explains that meme makers have pasted his face onto every rumor bathtub full of baby oil. Eyes wide shut masks, you name it. He admits he lost it when anonymous bloggers accused him of freak-off cameos. His plea to fans, you never know what someone's carrying, watch the assumptions. Yet digital detectives double down. Citing Will's own words, at the 2022 Oscars, love will make you do crazy things as proof he might bend moral lines behind closed doors. YouTube sleuths, slow, Mo, a 6-year-old Jimmy Kimmel clip where Diddy dodges a question about Will. Jada, and Jennifer Lopez, then splice it with Will's San Diego rant for maximum algorithm juice. Smith ends the set reminding viewers kindness beats clickbait, but the clip ends on a facepalm as he realizes kindness can't erase clouds of doubt. And that cloud only darkens when Jada steps forward, revealing the private turmoil that fed 1,000 open marriage headlines.
It was a big breakup for us. We were actually looking towards separating and divorcing. And we separated. The world just didn't know. Then we had a reconciliation. And then 2016 came and we had the ultimate break. But the world didn't know. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's where some of the misconception about having an open marriage came into play, because we were living lives as single people and the world didn't know. Over the span of 12 years of just trying to figure out this thing called love and marriage between Will and I, it's been a trip. And I think that even with that entanglement piece, which I talk about extensively in the book, how I played a part in the misconception of that narrative of allowing myself to be portrayed as an adulteress, allowing myself to be portrayed as someone that had betrayed Will. And that wasn't the case. We broke up in 2016. He went on to live a life as a single man. I went on to live a life as a single woman. And then when we had the talk at the red table, I was going to go to the red table by myself to talk about the entanglement. But Will decided he wanted to come with me. And we were going to then tell the world, hey, we haven't been together. And this happened during that time. Well, when we got to the table, Will wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for the world to take this heat. Because guess what? The heat is coming either way. Whether when we decide to get divorced, when we decide to separate, whatever. This is my practice run. Strip it down. Let it go, Jada. And then let's see what's left. I didn't have to put that particular show out, but I had already gotten myself so ready for that journey for myself. And to me, that was moving closer to my freedom than holding back and creating a narrative that I felt like was just going to entrap me more. And as difficult as it's been, because the irony is I spent so much of our relationship having this open communication between he and I, creating this beautiful friendship of authenticity and honesty. And so to be labeled as someone who had cheated on him was devastating, but it also put me in a position where I had to learn how to let go of what anybody thought about me and really be 10 toes down on understanding who I am and being able to walk in that. You know, it's kind of like that is the walk when they talk about walking on hot coals. It's like creating that level of, when we talk about that inner world work and creating that like strong foundation within yourself of knowing exactly who you are, no matter what other people think about you. I mean, I've gotten that to a certain degree. And so that was a very challenging moment. And I talk about it in the book because I feel like so many people are challenged in that way of like, how can I just walk in this world and be okay with myself no matter what? And I talk about the journey, you know, really extensively in the book. But there have been so many misconceptions about my relationship with Will. But I think that everybody suffers misconceptions. Once again, whether you're head of the PTA and your husband's that doctor and you're the lawyer, you know what I mean? And you're like the creme de la creme of your friend group or, you know, of your community. And so everybody's expecting you to have a certain kind of marriage. And marriage is a journey, you know, and it's a journey towards learning how to love yourself and learning how to love your partner. And there's not one way to do it. And everybody, I think we do that journey a real disservice of trying to make it this cookie cut thing. Like, no, you can only do it this way.
What if your open marriage was just two people quietly living separate lives? In a 2023 memoir rollout, Jada Pinkett Smith drops the bomb. She and Will have been effectively single since 2016, piecing together friendship between therapy sessions and PR tsunamis. The world reads open marriage. Jada says, no two exhausted souls on parallel paths. In her 2024 press tour, she admits the Red Table episode about her entanglement nearly didn't air. Will insisted on joining last minute, then froze, forcing her to shoulder public scorn as the so-called adulteress. Jada tells Today Show viewers, I had to learn to walk on spiritual hot coals, loving myself even when the world screamed cheater. Critics accuse her of monetizing drama. Supporters hail radical transparency. What nobody disputes, those revelations arrived just as Diddy's tapes rumor started trending, creating a perception, fair or not, of Smith family anything goes hedonism. Psychologists weigh in on talk shows. Public couples become avatars onto which audiences project fantasies and fears. The Smiths, already stained by the slap, now serve as moral Rorschach tests for Diddy conspiracy theorists. And while Jada dismantles misconceptions, a decades-old rumor roars back. Diddy once threatened to punch Will over Jennifer Lopez. Turns out the source of that tale just hit replay.
Tell me the story about how Puffy wanted to fight Will Smith over Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, man. We were at a birthday party that I think either Matt Damien was giving for Ben Affleck. It was just a little gathering. It was at the Four Seasons. Will Smith and his sister and her husband, we were all sitting on this side of the room. Matt Damien, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Puff, Will Smith, and Jada, and it was sitting on the other side of the room. So I know Puff so well that he stood up. When he stood up, he walked and did his own some kind of way, like, and then he went like this, like that. I went over towards him. I know to go over there towards him. So I go over towards him, and he said to me, he said, yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer. I want you to stay close, because I'm a snuffer. I said to myself, Will Smith gonna beat the shit out you. No, Puff can scrap now, but I don't think he could beat Will Smith. He said this. So I didn't go back over there where Will Smith's sister and her husband was. I stayed about, if he snuffed Will, I could move slow enough that Will could probably get 2 or 3 punches back in. Yeah, but that shit was funny. He thought that Jada and Will was coming on too strong to Jennifer, making advances.
Imagine waking up on your boss's yacht naked, drugged, and flanked by sex workers, then being told you're lucky he likes you. That's the picture painted by Rodney Lil Rod Jones, Diddy's producer videographer from 2022-23. In a February 2024 federal filing, Jones says Combs groped him hundreds of times, drugged his drinks, and forced him to record sex acts, including, he alleges, minors given laced cocktails. Jones believes Diddy was grooming him, a fear confirmed. He says, when Cuba Gooding Jr. molested him aboard Puff's yacht. The suit claims Jones archived hundreds of hours of footage showing narcotics, weapon flashes, and trafficked individuals. Diddy's lawyers call the claims extortion-driven. In March 2025, a judge dismisses the RICO and emotional distress counts, but allows the sexual assault and trafficking claims to proceed, a partial win for both sides. Fueling the drama, Jones quotes Puff bragging, "That's why I shot up the club in a 99 and let Shine take the fall. Suddenly, a 24-year-old nightclub shooting long sealed in lore comes roaring back, led by the man who served the time. Because if blackmail tapes are the sword over Hollywood's head, 1999 is the ghost rattling chains at its feet."
Fine. If you read the documents, in his mind, he was so scared that when he went to other people in the camp and said, "Why did he treat me? Why did he doing this and doing that?" They said, "Oh, he just playing with you because he loved you. He liked you." He was trying to instill that fear in you that he had in you. And he won.
Yeah, that does make sense, man. And me looking at this lawsuit, he's also, alleging that he met Cuban Gooding Jr. through Diddy on Diddy Yacht. And it even got to a point where he started touching him on his, upper inner thigh near his groin, according to him.
Did you see the picture?
Nah, I didn't get to see it, but
oh my God. Yo, listen to me, man. I don't know if it was what they call it when you take two pictures and they put it together, stuff like that. What they call it when they put the pictures together and it don't belong together, but they put it together. Whatever.
Side by side.
Yeah, whatever they call that. Cuban Gooding Jr. was so close to that. That was his lady. That's how close he was to him. And then his hands all on his leg and everything. It was crazy, bro. I don't even believe that. So when you see Cuban Gooding fighting a case here in New York, when he said the girl was saying that he was groping her and everything like that, I'm glad they didn't show that picture at his trial. Because he would have been guilty. That's how close he was to that kid, man.
So you seeing no pictures, do you believe his claims?
Yeah, I believe his claims. Somebody put something in Cuban Gooding Jr. ear that this was fresh meat, or see can you break him, or see can you do something? Because don't no other man be that close to no other man, for that reason. Come on, bro. That's crazy.
Hey, do you know him? Have you ever met him before?
No, I don't think I met him before. I can't recall meeting him.
What if the bullet fragment still lodged in your eye could rewrite hip-hop history? December 27, 1999, Club New York, a champagne-flung scuffle erupts, 3 bystanders are hit by gunfire. Police stop Diddy and then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, find a 9'em in the car. At trial, rapper Shine Barrow takes the rap 10-year sentence. 2 decades later, now a Belizean politician. Shine tells Channel 5, "Everyone knew I was the fall guy." Enter Natalia Rubin, one of the victims. In a 2025 Instagram monologue, she points to her eye socket tattoo and declares, "Puffy shot me. I saw him do it. He bought the tape, paid the bouncers, buried the evidence." She vows to let surgeons remove the fragment so ballistic tests can prove caliber if prosecutors reopen the case. Veteran bodyguard Gene Deal counters on Vlad TV. Double jeopardy makes new charges unlikely. Puff never got powder tested. Shine already served the bid. Yet Deal concedes Puff found witnesses to testify against Shine. A legal maneuver that split their fates. To skeptics, Rubin's video is belated clout chasing. To believers, it's corroboration of Lil Rod's quote and proof that Puff's insurance footage goes back at least to '99, and that notion, tapes older than streaming itself, terrifies every name who ever stepped inside a Combs after party.
Lawsuit that has come out involving the producer Lil Rod. So basically his last 2 lawsuits, or last 2 major lawsuits, the one with Cassie, she made mention that Puffy made her carry his guns into nightclubs and wherever they went. And he threatened her to make her feel like she had to do so. And while there were lots of things of importance, that stood out to me. And I'm going to tell you why. In this lawsuit with the producer Lil Rod, they were both SA'd by him and threatened and physically harmed. But in this lawsuit, he appears to be a very young producer to me, but he said something very specific. As a means of threatening him, Puffy said, "That's why I shot up the club in New York back in 1999 and let Shine take the fall for it. Let me tell you why that's of utmost importance to me. Because I am the woman who he shot in the face in that 1999, December 27th, 1999, Club New York shooting. I have told everyone ad nauseum since then, even the surgeon who did the surgery to take the bullet, I literally have told everyone and never changed what I said. I watched him. I got pow-powed in the face. I watched him fire the gun. I've said it all this time. Even the surgeon who did my surgery to take out part of the bullet fragments that was aspirating into my lungs and try to remove as many bullet fragments as possible testified in the criminal trial that while they were putting me under, I was screaming, Puffy, pew pew me in the face. He testified in the criminal trial. It is in the record. They all knew he did it. Everybody knew he did it. But he paid off the club bouncer named Sharice and all these other people and the club owners with their video to hide the video. That's his MO. I told everybody that. This man almost took my life, has traumatized my life, has caused undue harm, irreparable damage to my life, lied his behind off. I've had all these youngins on the internet harassing me, swearing that I'm making it up that he did it. And look what he did to Little Rod. He threatened him. Oh, you don't think I bust my gun? I shot up the club in Club New York and let Shine take... Well. It only took 24 whole years for it to come out. You see this tattoo? This commemorates me getting shot. It took 24 years for him to come out and say it. I've been saying it all along, but y'all pick and choose who y'all want to believe. Oh, baby. You ain't seen nothing yet. Not only did he pew me in the face, he also set off a course of harassment against me for the past 24 years. When I tell you the things I went through, there was a time in 2017 and 2018 where I got 7 flats on my BMW. 7, the same tire, in a 2-year span. 7 on the same tire, and they were all new. Every time it happened, I had to get a new tire. I have the pictures to prove it. Harassing me. You want to know why? Because prior to Cassie, I was the only person to be victimized by him and then to successfully sue him and get paid. And he had to pay me out of his pocket. He has never gotten over that. Oh, baby. You see this RICO charge that's about to come? This conspiring and pew-pewing up the club and ruining or attempting to ruin my life? As God as my witness, I will not stop until you suffer every single iota.
When FBI vans wheel out hard drives, Hollywood talent agents start reading panic in group texts. Grand jury subpoenas now blanket not just music, but film, sports, even politics. One former security guard claims he once escorted a U.S. assassinator to a freak-off suite. Another alleges a European prince demanded total phone lockdown. John Deal swears he saw ordained ministers at 3 a.m. champagne rituals. Hallelujah, indeed. Lawmakers in California and New York proposed digital consent acts making covert filming a felony. Civil liberties groups cheer. Tabloids wonder if it kills spontaneous party culture. Studios quietly hire reputational archaeologists to comb photo archives and rideshare records for any trace of talent at a Diddy address. July 7, 2025, tentative start date for United States v. Sean Combs. Prosecutors hint they'll play 4 anchor clips totaling 47 minutes. Defense calls them adult role play selectively edited. If jurors convict on all trafficking counts, sentencing guidelines reach life without parole. Even an acquittal leaves RICO-style civil suits queued like flights at LAX Will Smith. For now, banks on public goodwill? Pitching a redemption drama to Netflix. Jada tours colleges with a talk titled Radical Truth and Marriage Myths. Ashton Kutcher tests marketing a privacy tech startup. Denies Europe relocation rumors. 50 Cent. He just bought a second Bottle Factory baby oil jokes sell merch. But beneath the memes, Hollywood braces for a trial where every placeholder name John Doe 7, Jane Doe 14 could unmask a superstar. Because evidence cares nothing for star power, it simply plays. And somewhere in a government storage cage, terabytes wait to roll.
I had some youngins on the internet that ain't even old enough, that weren't even alive when it happened, arguing me down, cussing me out, calling me everything but a child of God. Go check Instagram. It's there. Harassing my life. Harassing me. Oh, you lying. He ain't do that to you. You just want clout. You just chasing clout. What is that to chase clout about? How is that clout chase worthy? It doesn't even make sense. Well, I guess it will make sense in this new generation. But you better believe I will have my say. I will have my say. Hashtag having my say. Hashtag the dopest nerd ever. Hashtag Ebb Talks. Y'all ain't seen or heard nothing yet.
So after him and Diddy fell out, he started working with Jodeci more. I see. How you feel about the victim of the club shooting? I gotta ask you about this, man. How you feel about her coming out now saying that, Diddy, he shot her and not Sean? How you feel about that?
Well, the way I feel about that, the case is closed, bro. It can't be no double jeopardy. It can't be no retrial because they already had a trial and a man was convicted for her injuries. A man already did time for her injuries. You understand? If they would have to go back and see that if there were ballistic tests done on Jennifer Lopez, on Puffy, God bless the dead, on Wolf, did they do ballistic tests? And then see if they did ballistic tests and Puff had gunpowder on him, you know what I'm saying? Why didn't the police go through with charging him? Why didn't the police charge him? She could say that now, and she said that I don't take nothing from the victim. I don't take nothing from the victim. But her lawyer should have advocated. I know Puff and Sean, they had the same charges. But like I said before, and like Sean said also, Sean said this also because it's true. Puff had witnesses that come in to testify against Sean now. And the case is over with. It's been what? Well, how many years it's been? 15, 20 years? 15, 17, 15. Sean went to jail for 10 years. It was in 99, right? So.
About 23 years, huh?
About 20 some years. Ain't nothing they can do about that, bro. They can't reopen that shit and charge him.
Yeah, I mean, she did say that she, willing to lose an eye for authorities can, remove the bullet fragment from her eye so they can use it as evidence against Diddy. So, I mean, she did say that.
Bruh, I find that shit to be hilarious. How much money would you give for your eye? How much money would you give for your eye? They didn't even say Puff had a gun. They didn't even find. Sean got caught with a gun coming out the club. They didn't catch Puff with a gun on him. They caught a gun in the car. There were 4 people in that car. 1 person is dead. What do you think the lawyer's going to say? It was his. It was the bodyguard. It was the security. It wasn't Mr. Combs. You understand what I'm saying? So, she willing to lose an eye? And what is the fragment is come from Sean's bullet. Because what happened was, bruh, they shot in the air and things ricocheted and hit.
These new reports, right? How you feel about them saying that, Jennifer Lopez, she was carrying the gun in her purse?
My man, you can't make me believe that. I've been around Ms. Lopez plenty of times. And even though they say Jenny from the block, she didn't rock like that, bro. For real, for real. I've been around Ms. Lopez a few times. More than a few times. You understand what I'm saying? She did not rock like that. She don't get down like that, bro. Not at all. She wouldn't be carrying no gun for no pussy. Not at all. I know that, I will bet anything on that one, bro. That's right there. That's some internet bullshit.
So with that being said, right, how exactly did Diddy do Sean wrong when it comes to the case? If you don't mind me asking, break that down.
Well, I believe Diddy did Sean wrong because he told security at the time, and the head of security of his everyday operation was Paul Offer. If y'all know somebody who was there at the club that witnessed the shooting, go find. People was found by security and the street team and brought into Puff. When Puff liked their story, what they saw, he gave it to their lawyer. Their lawyer then sent them to the DA's office, and those people testified against Sean. They had the same charges. So they separated lawyers. They had separate lawyers, and everything went on Sean because Diddy found the witness against Sean and brought him forward. So I guess that's how you do your man when you don't want to go to jail. That's what happened, bro. Sean said it in the whole interview. On that documentary that Sean did from jail, he spoke about that, but he forgave him.
If that was you, would you forgive him?
Man, I wouldn't, bruh. I'm not into forgiving. That's for Christ. That's what Jesus is for.
Do you personally believe Diddy should have did some time?
I think if Sean did time and they had the same case, if they had the same case and Diddy wouldn't have found those witnesses against Sean, they all would have went to jail. But because Diddy had, I think his name was Braxton, Jewish lawyer, and Johnny Cochran, he was able to separate himself from the crime that was committed. So do I feel like he should have went to jail? I wasn't on the jury. But had he not found those witnesses to go against Sean, he would have been in somebody's jail. And that's facts.
When the after-party lights fade, only two things survive, the hard drive and the truth. Diddy's attorneys insist he'll beat the rap. Prosecutors promise footage that erases reasonable doubt. Will Smith pleads for empathy. Jada preaches freedom. Shine seeks vindication. Natalia Rubin offers an eyeball for proof. So ask yourself, if even half these tapes exist, how many reputations explode on playback? Drop your prediction in the comments who's safe, who's finished, and who's quietly calling lawyers right now. Smash that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, and stay locked. The moment the courtroom projector flickers on, we'll be here breaking every frame. Until then, remember, in Hollywood, the real show doesn't start on the red carpet. It starts when the velvet rope snaps and the cameras keep rolling.